The War to End All Wars is the conclusion to the Dark Knights of Steel. A series that has been held up due to constant delays has finally come to its conclusion. Each of the families in the Dark Knights of Steel universe are now about to battle against the Martian race that has been shapeshifting and manipulating them. It's time for the final battle. This is Comicstorian. We make audio dramas of current comic books so that you can see what you should be adding to your collection. Today's episode is going to be Dark Knights of Steel issues 11 and 12. The El Kingdom. Inside the castle, Harley steps into a room finding Constantine having a drink alongside Lady Lois. "Wow, Constantine, did you really screw up?" she says as John is finishing the drink that he's having. "The prophecy was right, Quinn. It was only the interpretation that failed us," he points out, and Lois shakes her head, pouring another drink. "We're all playing. We failed our monarchs. We failed our kingdoms. But the shapeshifters have not reckoned that the three of us would be sitting in a room together." The others smile, pouring their drinks. "Let us plan how we're going to F them up," John says with a nod. Elsewhere in the castle, Kal-El and Bruce stand at a balcony, with Bruce finally telling Kal the truth about their father. Kal steps forward, hugging the man he now knows to be his brother. "I will come to terms with the full ramifications of this in time, but I've always thought of you as a frustrating, know-it-all brother. I could not be happier that it's true," Kal says with a smile. The discussion turns to the shapeshifters, curious how they were able to stab Bruce if he is half Kryptonian, and Bruce explains that he and Alfred found a strange falling rock. "We found a green crystal at the site. It saps my strength, reduces us Kryptonians to mere mortals. It can kill us, and Kal, an entire meteor of it, fell out of the sky." Deep within the layer of the white Martians, the creatures are still breaking pieces of the green crystals off of the meteor, shaping them into blades. Their leader, Protex, stepping forward, admiring the work. "Yes, with this we can kill the Kryptonians," Protex proclaims as he raises one of the glowing blades, and a warrior steps forward, warning Protex of the arrival of a green Martian. "Jean-Jeans, he is here, and he will tell them our secrets, our weaknesses. He must be silenced," Protex muses. Shortly, the white Martians shift through the stone walls of Castle L, finding Jean alone in the dungeons. "Your little friends have imprisoned you. I can't believe what you chose to become in this world," Protex says. He stands before his old enemy, proclaiming that the white Martians have become legends in this world, taking the shape of many monsters and phantoms. He raises his green ring, preparing to silence the green Martian forever since he is now powerless, and a green tendril snakes out, beginning to strangle Jean. "I'm not entirely powerless. I can still speak, and I can still think, and my thoughts have not been contained in my own mind. They have reached another." The dungeon wall suddenly explodes inward as Kal-El bursts through, Bruce quickly following with a sword in hand, and the two stare at Protex as the Martian shifts into a great monster. But they hit him with their heat vision, and he escapes, screaming in pain. "Are you all right?" Bruce asks as he rushes to Jean's side, and the green Martian nods, explaining that the kingdom needs to protect itself. So defenses are put into place, great fires are lit on every wall, and all the soldiers travel with torches in hand. Diana and Zala dig up a great moat and fill it with a burning pitch to defend the castle. Jean and Bruce oversee it all, and as they watch, Jean apologizes for deceiving Bruce for all of these years. Bruce holds up the lasso of truth and asks Jean to read his mind. Jean is stunned by what he senses. "Yes, you kept something from me and it hurt me, but I understand why. You thought I'd see you as I saw many others. As a monster, Alfred," Bruce says as he puts his hand on the man's shoulder. "From the moment my parents died, you have stood behind me. I would not know who I am without you. I may not have known who you were, but I know you. I am grateful, and I love you." He tells Alfred that he has been wrong about many things and must begin to set them right. Alongside Kal, he descends into the castle dungeons, freeing the powered beings that he has locked away inside of there. "Just the people who deserve to be released! Violent robbers and murderers will stay imprisoned," Quinn says as she pops around his shoulder. But all is not well in the kingdom. Amanda Waller, leader of the L's armies, does not agree with siding with the other kingdoms. She points out that the people have still died by their hands. But Laura tells her that an alliance is their best course at this time. Waller finally bows her head. "As you wish, your majesty," she says before turning and walking from the room. Laura then takes her children to the burial site of their crashed ship, where she pulls a crystal from the computer. "Can it harm us?" Cal asks her, and Laura shakes her head. The crystal simply holds plans, she explains, so the royal family goes beneath the castle where they forge an object that will aid them in the coming battle. "Is it a weapon?" Zala asks, but Laura explains that it is a doorway to an unbreakable prison. She holds up the Phantom Zone projector. "With this, we can send them all into the Phantom Zone, a prison." In the lair of the White Martians, Protex's forces have finished their weapons, but they stop as Amanda Waller and Deadshot ride in. Waller draws her sword, stepping forward. "You have endangered my people," she growls, and one of the warriors moves forward to grab her. "Be careful, your entire species is almost extinct. You shouldn't throw your life away by laying a hand on me." The warrior grabs her and he suddenly screams as she bursts into flames. She watches coldly as he dies. "Stop this!" Protex demands, but Waller shakes her head. "Impossible. The spell of protection has been triggered. I made a deal with the devil. Hellfire cannot be extinguished." She stalks forward, staring up at the face of Protex. "You and I had an agreement and a plan, Protex. I will create another opening for you and we will succeed, but only if you follow my instructions from now on." Amanda Waller looks over the pit of glowing stones at her new ally, the White Martian known as Protex, as they devise their battle plan for tomorrow. "The castle is surrounded by flames," the Martian reminds her, but Waller waves off the comment, noting that her secret squad will make sure that the fires have been put out before dawn. "You do not touch any of the people or soldiers in my kingdom, Protex. Do you understand?" She reminds him, and Protex nods his agreement. Meanwhile, over in the Castle L, the three advisors, Harley Quinn, John Constantine, and Lady Lois, have gone before the rulers of the three kingdoms, offering their plan on how to stop the Martians once and for all. It will require deception, and there is an element of risk with releasing an uncontrollable force that really should not be released. But we believe that we can nullify the aliens. Their ultimate fate will rest with you, Lady Lois says as they finish. "Whose idea was this?" Bruce says, glancing at Constantine with disdain, but Lois explains that the plan was devised by all three of them. "And you had the greatest mind in the world locked in your dungeon, so we also asked for his counsel," motioning to Bobo the chimp, the great detective chimp nodding his head, explaining that while the plan has many risks, it also has the greatest chance of success. "You advisors are advising well," he says, and Queen Laura nods, dismissing the council, wishing the queens to discuss the issue. As everyone walks out, Bobo turns to John, doffing his hat. "You are being blamed for much of what has transpired. I hope that you will take credit if it succeeds." John smiles. "Of course, and if it all goes arse up, I'll tell him it was the monkey's idea." Time passes, and just before dawn, there is a great snowstorm. Deadshot and Captain Cold stand on the castle walls, with Cold using his magical wand to blow a powerful wind chill down on the armies of the Storm Kingdom and the Amazons, putting out the fires that are protecting them from the Martians. The Amazons fight to keep their fires lit, but a green fog begins to roll towards them as General Philippus steps forward with her sword drawn. "Be ready!" she shouts to her warriors, but Dinah steps through the gathering of soldiers and she takes one big, deep breath, her scream piercing through the fog, throwing it back. The assault forces the White Martians to take on their true forms, snarling creatures who become solid again and rush at the Amazons, and thus our fight begins. General Philippus rushes forward, swinging her blade at Protex, but the Martian hardens his skin and the blade shatters. He smiles as he grabs her by the throat, lifting her into the air, the green mace appearing in his hand, created by the magical ring on his finger. "Look in my face! Let it be the last thing that you see, human." He growls as a blur moves through the air and Kal-El slams into the side of the Martian, throwing him away. Protex looks up, seeing the gathering of powerful warriors. Diana, Cal, Zala and Bruce stand ready. "Leave these people alone! It's us that you want," Cal shouts, and Protex snarls his agreement. But the heroes are refusing to fight where others can get hurt, and they fly away. "They're fleeing! We hunt!" Protex growls as the Martians draw their kryptonite blades and fly after the heroes. But the heroes finally arrive at Mount Kristoff, the place where the elves revealed themselves for the first time. And they wait. As the white Martians begin to circle them, Diana looks around angrily. "Before we begin, tell me, which of you killed my mother?" One of the Martians raises his hand, smiling. "It was I who split your mother in twain so easily." Before Diana can respond, the mountain begins to rumble, and Protex looks around in confusion as Bruce smiles. "That's an earthquake," he explains as in the distance the Queens of the Storm use their powers to upset the balance of the earth, activating the volcano that is Mount Kristoff once again. The volcano erupts, spewing fire and lava everywhere, the flames raining down on the white Martians, weakening them. But the heroes aren't done. Zala grabs a hold of the barrel of pitch that they had hidden away, tossing it down on the powerful heroes, lighting them on fire. The heroes leap into battle, the flames taking the strength and powers away from their enemies. And Bruce pushes through the destruction. "Protex!" he bellows as he lunges at the white Martian leader. "Alfred sends his regards," he says as he punches the monster hard, shattering his teeth. Nearby, the Martian known as Graz, the murderer of Queen Hippolyta, cowers in fear as Diana is standing over him, her sword at the ready. "Graz, your name will live on in Amazon history for any who would harm a queen. You will be a cautionary tale," she says as she swings her blade, slicing Graz's head in half. As the battle comes to its conclusion, Queen Laura arrives, not wishing any more blood to be spilt in the battle, and she holds up the mighty device that she and her children created. It begins to glow and suck the Martians inside of it. "Protex, for your crimes against the kingdom in this world, you and your followers are banished," she says as the Kryptonian magic swirls, pulling the Martians into the Phantom Zone. Thus, the great battle has ended. But that would not be the last of the losses for the day. At the castle, Alfred looks up as the doors to the Great Hall open. General Waller and Deadshot walk in. "General Waller, you have missed so much. Where have you been?" Alfred asks her, but Waller dismisses him, explaining that she was outside with the troops. Alfred stops her, looking at Deadshot. "Whatever magical guards you have access to have hidden your thoughts well, Waller, but you should have extended that defense to your underling." Alfred looks at her, having seen everything that she did with Protex. He reaches out a hand for her arm. "You will be taken to the dungeon, General." But Alfred then looks in shock as his hand bursts into flames. "You should not have laid your hand on me, Green Man," she says with a smile. In the distance, Bruce can feel Alfred's pain and fear, and he leaps into the air, rocketing towards the castle. The first time the bat flew. He arrives at the castle as Alfred bursts into flames. "Bruce, my boy." Alfred manages to gasp before turning to ashes before Bruce's eyes. He looks as Waller draws his sword, whirling on Deadshot. "You foul traitor!" she bellows as she rushes forward, stabbing Deadshot through the chest and then leaning down to Bruce, apologizing for not seeing Deadshot's deception before he was able to kill Alfred. "I'm sorry, my prince, but it is over now," she says to him quietly. And thus the tale ends. The kingdoms have come together, knowing that there are still threats out there. The great kingdoms of the oceans, the sky realms, the frozen isles. Cal found his brother Bruce, questioning why he would turn down the right to sit upon the throne and rule, but Bruce shakes his head, looking out the window, looking on the kingdom of his family, and he explains that he wishes to find out who he truly is, to explore the world, to go where no one has heard of the bastard Bat Prince, he says, and Cal smiles, nodding. "I understand, but know this. When you do realize you're worthy to lead, brother, I will follow the Bat King," Cal says as he takes his brother's hand in a shake of honor. The three kingdoms have come together, signing a declaration of unity, creating the League of Kingdoms, and the world will need them. And that concludes Dark Knights of Steel. Finally, the whole series has come to a conclusion. Obviously, they've set it up for a sequel, and I would love to see where this universe is going to go. But if you want to know this entire story, you're just interested but you haven't been watching it because it's been delayed, I think like 2 years now, I'll link you the whole playlist down below and you can check out the entire series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time right here at Comicstorian.